All right, welcome, guys. Today we will be talking about digital ethics and how it impacts digital citizenship. First off, before we get started, I want to make sure that everybody has ran their audio setup wizard, which looks like you guys have. Um, Also, give me a smiley face if you can hear me adequately. Thank you. Um, Please give me a smiley face if it says recording up in your top right-hand corner. All right. We're going to talk about digital ethics and digital citizenship today. And what I'm going to try to do is break this down into smaller segments such as copyright, plagiarism, sexting, pornography, privacy, and cyberbullying. These are just some of the areas of digital ethics that we hear about in the news today. It is important that our students understand what digital ethics are and discuss these areas in order to make our students become better digital citizens. So here's a quick poll. Let me change the polling response real quick. All right, digital ethics includes which of the following subtopics? So what do you guys think? Yes, you guys are right. The answer is D. All right, what is digital ethics? Digital ethics is a mindset of good and bad practices to use on the internet or while using technology. So basically, we want our students to be responsible of what they are doing while they are on the internet. Ethics is a mindset of what is right and what is wrong. So when we talk about digital ethics, we just want to apply that into our digital world, interacting with others online, and make sure that our students know, you know, what's illegal. And one of the examples is plagiarism. It's illegal for our schools, and our school boards or administrators might kick a student out of a college or a university for this, but there's no legal obligations for that. But we just want to give our students an idea of what's right and what's wrong. What is privacy? Privacy is the act of securing information and preventing others from accessing your own personal information. And Jerry talked a little bit about the difference between private and public information. Let's see, according to NPR, Snapchat was designed to send pictures and videos that disappear after a couple seconds. I've read other articles that talk about Snapchat to send sexually explicit photos because they disappear. I know you can take screenshots on your phone too, so technically Snapchat is not an act of privacy in my own opinion. We need to teach our students to respect themselves, and my rule of thumb to teach would be if you don't want everybody to see what you post on the internet, then you probably shouldn't post it. Um, as we mentioned, or as we talked about in Jerry's presentation, let's see, Sarah, and they stay on some sort of, yeah, I think they have some kind of server that they keep to with Snapchat, but their article from NPR News was that um, it's more of a private, um, Snapchat's more private than, sending a text message or whatever, since they disappear. But yeah, I agree, Sarah. Um, but as I was mentioning, Dr. Carlson talked about leaving a digital footprint, and he thinks that our generation, we're kind of used to it now, and privacy is not something that we worry about much, but we need to be aware of it, what we are posting online. Um, I think that digital footprints are good things, but we just need to be aware of, what we are posting online. Let's see, and we'll talk a little bit more about this in my next slide too. Oh, the one thing that I forgot to mention with the privacy is there's a whole other issue too, such as securing credit card numbers and things of that nature to be aware with, or to be aware of too. Let's see, NPR News, they had a story about a dating website called OkCupid, and this gathered some simple information about, what's your name, age, and general information like that. Well, one of the questions they asked was, do you use drugs? And then we come to find out that third parties had been accessing this general information from OkCupid and selling it to companies. So if you were to apply for a job from one of these companies and they got their information from OkCupid, well, you go in for an interview and they have this information about you that you don't even know they have, and that says, do you use drugs? If you answered yes, then the company's not going to want to hire someone that's a drug user. So, like I said before, we need to be aware of what we are posting on the internet, and my best policy practice is if you don't want everybody to see what you post, then don't post it at all. Let's see, what is cyberbullying? Cyberbullying is making fun of another person online or harming another person's feelings. If you remember, in the first week we talked about digital etiquette, and I used cyberbullying in that discussion. NPR had a story from 2010, and they talked about a student named Tyler Clemente, who his roommate had videotaped him with a sexual encounter in another man. So um, we need, or Tyler Clemente went on to jump off a bridge, and there was a big news article about all this. So we need to inform our students about the dangers of bullying and how they use the internet to do this. We need to make our students aware of cultural differences and be accepting to people with different cultures and different traditions. And then also make them aware of consequences as well. Let's see here. I will post this web link here in the text box. You guys can go and watch it later on if you want. But this was a pretty good story that I found from CBS News, and at the end of it, they had been making fun of this girl, and she wrote in her journal and said that words really do hurt, and said how many people are going to have to die before we realize this and take action. So I just thought it was a kind of a story to bring to light that cyberbullying really is an issue and that we need to do something to prevent it. All right, sexting. Sexting is the act of sending sexually explicit photos and messages primarily through mobile phones. Um, it's becoming more popular among teenagers, and I think that our students and children are not aware of what they're actually doing when they send it. because some of these photographs are leaked out to the internet to things such as YouTube and Facebook, and then it becomes child pornography. It's against the law to have sexual videos or sexually explicit photographs of males or females under the age of 18. An example we heard about from NPR News was a 14-year-old girl from Baltimore who was videotaped performing oral sex on a boy around the same age, and then it leaked to social media. And then the dad was wanting to press charges against the boy for kind of pressuring the girl. Sarah talked about that a little bit in her presentation. And then I mentioned the digital footprint before. If our students, teenagers, and our own children do something like this, it's not a matter of, it will just go away. We can push it under the rug. Well, now everything has a digital footprint, and when they grow up and they try to get a job, they can see, well, when you were 14, you had this, you got in trouble with the law for this. So we really need to make our students aware of what they're doing and how it could impact their future. Let's see, what is copyright? Copyright is a protection of copying or recreating someone else's own intellectual property or invention. Anything created by one person, it has an implied contract, no matter how big or how small. So as soon as you put your pen to a piece of paper and you write something that has an implied copyright or an implied contract that is your work and nobody else can use that. Let's see. In students, we want our students to do learning, so they receive the learning as well. This is one philosophy that we learned in Sherry's class about Terry Doyle. So the reason copyright wasn't created was to encourage people to create their own ideas and not use other people's ideas. And this really encourages the philosophy that we want our students to we want them to do the learning or to do their own work, so they will receive the learning. And that's why I think copyright is a really good idea. There are many different guidelines and laws when considering copyright, and we don't have time to go through them all today, but one of the things I remember off the top of my head is in music, you can use up to 10% of music production if it was recorded after 1972. If you use one recorded before that, they didn't have copyright rules in place, so you can use the whole musical production. And then for things such as pictures, you can go to Flickr, and they have a Creative Commons, which uses pictures that have no copyright, so you can use that freely and recreate it with no legal obligation. And here's the group assignment. Matt enjoys taking pictures with his digital camera. His pictures are quite unusual and can be easily identified in his work. He wants to let people see his pictures, so he posts them on a website. A couple of months later, he is surfing the internet and sees some of his pictures on someone else's website. At first, he is flattered that someone enjoyed his pictures, but on closer inspection, he sees that he is not credited anywhere on the site as a person who took the pictures. The way the images are posted makes it seem as if the site owner had taken the pictures. What is the issue and what should be done? So I'll let you go out into your break rooms, and then I'll put a timer up for 3 minutes, and you guys can come back. I'll also make you guys moderators, so that way you guys can create a new whiteboard to write your answers down if there's not enough room on the end of this page, and then we'll come back so you guys can go to your rooms now. Alright, let's see what you guys wrote. Legal issues, could possibly sue, Shutterfly, Flickr, and giving up rights, adding names to your photos. Alright, yeah, that's good ideas. Could one of you guys grab the mic and kind of explain Shutterfly and Flickr a little more for our virtual audience?
Yeah, so Jerry had just mentioned that we're not sure, but like he thought that maybe like on Shutterfly, when you post a photo or something on there, you lose your copyright. And I know it's that way on Flickr, I'm pretty sure, where it just sort of like becomes a public domain image. And so we were just like sort of addressing that when we were talking about it. And then the other thing Jerry had mentioned is his wife sometimes like puts her name on photos she takes, which is something you think that a photographer might want to practice. So that might be a good way, you know, if this person didn't want to like get in a legal battle, to like start practicing that, it would be a lot easier maybe.
Yeah, and then another one of the things that I've thought about is Maggie gave us a link to Creative Commons, and uh, when you think about that, there's restrictions that you can place on your own intellectual property. So you might be allowed to give people authority to make changes, but you might have restrictions, like say they can use it for educational purposes, but they can't make it for any money or anything like that. So you can put restrictions on what kind of copyrights you have on the picture. So that was another thing to think about too. Let's go to, all right, here is a list of my references, and I hope you learned something today. We need to make our students aware of good ethical internet practices and to inform them on the dangers of some websites and consequences if they use technology in a bad way, such as cyberbullying. If we do these things, our students will become overall better digital citizens. I want to thank you for your time, and I hope you enjoyed.